Water Garden Center. My name is Michelle, and today's class is going to be on evergreens. A couple of different types of evergreens. There are the broadleaf evergreens, like the euonymuses, and there's the conifers, which are your pine trees, your blue spruces, your Theodore cedars. So the broadleaf evergreens are the ones that obviously have thicker leaves. These guys are going to keep their leaves all winter long. They have different growth habits. There are some really, really tall ones like the Pinions. Those guys can get anywhere from 8 to 15 feet tall. There's the golden euonymus that's going to stay in that 3x3, 4x4 size range. And they can all give us a lot of color, especially in the wintertime where we have, it gets dreary and we are in the desert, so most of us have either gravel or DG all over the place, so it can get brown. So mixing it up, sometimes evergreens can just get boring because they just, they don't bloom or not very spectacularly. Most of them will bloom a little bit, but it's pretty insignificant. And the really nice thing about evergreens that bloom, most of them do it early. So they actually add nectar to like honeybees that come out early in the spring. And it's something that we kind of need to think about when we're planting our gardens and our yards, so we can actually kind of help nature along with the different seasonal blooming plants and stuff. Let's just start with some of the smaller evergreens. This is a Green Mountain Boxwood, and I brought this one up for two reasons. It is a great evergreen. This one is deer-approved. Rabbits, everybody leaves this one alone. He is just green, but he does bloom early in the spring, and he has little white, kind of whitish yellow flowers. Again, like I said, they're pretty non-significant, but they feed the bees. And so early in the spring, this is just kind of covered in bees. And I know that kind of sounds scary, but usually if you don't mess with the bees, they're not going to bother you. Unless you dig up into their faces, they won't mess with you. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know there are people that are allergic, and that's a really tough situation. But bees are good for the environment. They keep us fed. I like to help them along as much as I can. There are several types of boxwoods that we have. The Green Mountain, which is this one here, will get 6 foot tall and 3 wide. So it's kind of a columnar shape, which is kind of nice. You can use it as for privacy. You can use it as in a pot next to your door. These guys are a really versatile plant. They can take the sun, they can do some shade, so they work in a lot of different situations. There is the winter gem boxwood, which kind of gets 5 by 5. So he's just kind of more round, nice hedging plants. So if you like to nip and tuck, these guys are great to do that with. Right now we do have some green mountains that are actually shaped like a Christmas tree, topiary. So you just kind of keep them trimmed up, and you can put little white lights on them for Christmas time, so they look really pretty that way. The last little type of boxwood that we have is the petite gem. Currently I'm out of that one, but it's a really cute little one because it only gets 2 feet tall. So for smaller areas, or if you just want to pop a green in a flower bed, it's kind of nice to have that. Boxwoods are great, again, because they're deer, rabbit, and javelina resistant. This is the golden euonymus, and I love this one. It gets 3 to 4 foot tall and wide. Great color. So if you have a dark corner, this one can add light to dark spaces. Also in the wintertime, it just having some different color besides the green is really, really nice. So this is one of my favorite plants. And there is a sale on these, and they're right out here. They're specially priced at $29.99, I believe. Regularly $39.99. These are more ground cover evergreens, and these are both junipers. I love the color of this guy. He is the icy blue juniper. He only gets like 3 inches tall, so he's really low growing. They will get probably 6 to 8 feet wide. So if you just have a space that you just need to pop a color in, these guys are great. Nice kind of grayish blue color. Really, really nice. This is the Calvary carpet juniper. Beautiful green. Gets 6 to 9 inches tall, and will get 8 to 10 feet wide. Another great ground cover. If you're looking for something a little bit taller, there is the buffalo juniper that gets about 1 foot tall and 10 foot wide, or the tamarack actually gets 2 feet tall and 10 foot wide. So there is a size just for you. So just ask. We have a lot of people here today. Just get with Doug, Amy, or I, and we'll help you find whatever you're looking for. While I'm talking about ground covers, this is a cotoneaster, and I think we're all pretty familiar with them. Cotoneasters are another one that come in several different sizes and shapes. This one is the Coral Beauty. This is actually one of the taller ones, so this is going to get about 2 to 3 foot tall, and then do the 8 foot wide. Eckholt is the smallest one, and it kind of gets in that 6-inch range and wide. Streves, actually, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Streves is the lower one. Eckholt's is the 1 foot one. So there are small, medium, and large. There is actually a coral or a cranberry cotoneaster that we have over there. They are really, really pretty. Their berries are huge, but unfortunately, the cranberry cotoneaster is not an evergreen. So it's one of the few that are not. Cotoneasters, thank you for that question. He asked if cotoneasters are deer resistant, and yes, they are. Deer, rabbit, and javelina leave them alone. So they're a great plant to have if you're in the wild spaces of Prescott. This is a Colorado blue spruce. And people always ask me, why are they just green, or why do they have different colors? And it's all about our soil, and also the nutrients that are in that rootstock. So the more blue that you want your tree to be, if you add sulfur in the spring and the fall, your tree will be bluer, because the sulfur brings out the color and everything, which is why you use it on like hydrangeas and stuff like that. Colorado blue spruce. There are several different varieties of these. Regular Colorado blue will get 40 feet tall and about 25 feet wide. So it's one of the bigger ones here. There is the hoopsie spruce and the Baccarat spruce. Those will both get in that between 25 and 30 feet tall. But they're both a little bit more narrow, so they're only going to get in that 15-ish wide, which is kind of nice for some of our smaller properties around. dwarf Alberta spruce. These guys are kind of cute. They're one of the slower growing trees that we have, and when people are looking for dwarf, sometimes that term can mean different things to different people. So this one is only going to get about 8 feet tall and about 4 to 6 wide. Or I'm sorry, 3 to 4 wide. Sorry, I misspoke. 2 to 3 inches a year is all it grows. Really cute little trees. Usually I see them in groupings of like 3, which looks really cute. People decorate them for Christmas and everything else, so they're a great little tree to have. A lot of people will use these in pots in their doorway to frame their entrance. These are a great tree for that. The only thing that I would say about these is pay attention to them. The spider mites love these guys, so just kind of be careful. If you start noticing little brown spots here and there, especially on the outside edges, you probably have spider mites. So just really kind of be careful, and then make sure you're spraying regularly if you do get them. So this is a golden Theodore cedar. I really love this tree. He has amazing color. This yellow on the tips of this is his new growth, and he is supposed to look like this. He isn't going to get as big as the regular green deodors, a little bit smaller in size, probably reaching in that 20-25 foot range, and probably 15-ish wide. Theodores are great because they have the graceful branching and very versatile in your landscape. I'm going to bring both of these out. So I brought these just because they're kind of cool. These are both Pinion Pines. This is the 2-needle pinion, and then this is the single leaf pinion. They'll both give you pine nuts, but they're both kind of very slow growing trees. I've actually seen the single needle grow faster than the double. But they're great little trees. Always a bonus if you can get one in your landscape, because they're pretty native around here. So it's a great tree to have. So the next thing I want to talk about is the pine trees, and I just brought the Bosnian. There are several different types of pine trees. You can't see you guys. There's the Bosnian pine, which is this one. His needles don't get quite as long as like the ponderosa or the Austrian pine. He stays a little bit smaller and narrower as well, which is kind of nice, again, because we all have a smaller yard. Bright green foliage, he's going to get in that 25, 30 foot tall and probably in that 15 wide. Him and the Vanderwolf pine, which is the gray-green pine, really soft needles, the one that you can actually go up and pet. One of my favorite trees. The really important thing about pine trees and evergreens is please do not overwater them. They can really take our heat. Even though we're 100 degrees, water, especially if they're newly planted, you only want to water them once or twice a week at most, as long as you're doing it deeply in volume-wise. Really important. Several calls this week. My pine tree's dying. And I ask how often they're watering it, and they're watering it every day or every other day. And it's like, stop. So it's really important to learn your irrigation system, learn the volume. That's the most important thing about it. Learn what your emitters are, what size they are. So very nice plant. Like I said, they can provide shade, they can give you that green that we need during the wintertime months. Great thing to have. And we have a lot of different varieties. Sure.
What of the pine trees, which ones are the fastest growing?
So her question was, of the pine trees, which are the fastest growing? Your Austrian pine is going to be the fastest growing pine tree out there. The Austrian pine will get in that probably 30 to 40 foot tall and about 30 wide. Once it's established, which usually it takes 2 or 3 years to actually get their feet into the ground, Prescott brown dirt is really bad, hard, messy stuff. It's pretty much dead soil, so we do need to help it out, make sure that we are adding the nutrients that they need. So that's why we have come up with the all-purpose fertilizer. It goes down 3 times a year for deciduous plants, and then we add the New Year's application for the evergreens, because they they slow down in the winter months, but they still are growing and expanding. So we need to help them that way. We need to make sure that they get enough water, deep water. I won't get on that soapbox again. I do it every week. But long, deep drinks will keep your pines healthy. One thing that I will say is the plant protector is something that everybody should have in their arsenal at home. Your pinion pines do get scale. The regular pines can get bark beetle, and basically the way the bark beetle works is if a tree gets stressed and if just one gets in there, they send out this pheromone that says, hey, I found a place, come on over, and they will basically attack that tree. So if you see a tree that has all these spots of sap, that's the tree pushing, because as soon as something tries to bore out, the sap starts pushing it back. So it's just a protective mechanism that the tree does. If a tree is stressed, they don't have enough sap flowing up and down that layer. So when the tree the beetle comes in, they don't have the sap to actually push out that beetle. So that's why you get trees in the forest that have been in drought conditions. That's why we see all the dead pines around. There are other types of evergreens, upright junipers. There's the Spartan and the Wichita. One is green, one is blue. Both of those are going to get 12 feet tall and about 4 to 6 wide. Basically, the difference between the two is the color. The Spartan has the green of the pine, whereas the Wichita blue has more of a blue spruce color. So you can mix them up, add different textures and colors to your landscape. They're moderately fast growing, so they're going to grow about 8 inches a year. And they can give you some privacy or just a small tree if you just need some shade in a particular spot. The other one that I always like to talk about is the Arizona cypress. Arizona cypresses will get in that about 30 tall and about 25 wide. Another one of those fast-growing evergreens. They will, once they're established after 3 years, they will grow about 18 inches a year. They're really, really fast-growing tree. So if you have a neighbor with an RV that you want to block out, that might be a tree to put in. Thank you very much.